Hello everyone, we are moving on to day 2 of our Zen Tangling. Last time we were together, we focused on our very first 6 Zen Tangle patterns: bubbles, fish scales, curlicues, checkers, seaweed, and wheels. You folks did a fantastic job. I am so impressed by the work that you all put out and the time that you took doing these different patterns. The element of art that we are working with again is line. Line is a dot that takes a walk, and in this case, these lines are taking so many walks into these beautiful patterns we know as Zen tangles. What we are going to do today is we're going to move on to our next tangle patterns. There are only 4 that we have today. Okay, so these are more of them. These are a bit more challenging. It is okay if they don't turn out perfect. Again, these are just practice. I do want you to try all of them, but don't get discouraged if it doesn't turn out perfect. This is all just practice. Okay, perfect does not exist. Everybody has their own style and their own techniques to completing these patterns. Okay, so the first pattern that we're going to start with is going to be petal. Again, if you need to pause the video, feel free to pause the video. I really want you to make sure that you're watching me do the different Zen Tangle patterns first and then try it. It makes it much easier to watch, pause the video, and try to do it. Or if you're struggling a little bit, you can just watch it done again and again. That's what's wonderful about having the video. You can just watch until you understand. Okay? So, again, you will be working in pencil. Do not worry about erasing. Practice. I really just want you to focus on not worrying about mistakes. You are going to be working with pencil. I am going to be showing you in Sharpie because it shows up a little bit better. So let's get started. Our first pattern is going to be petal. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to split our square. Oops, pen is having a little trouble waking up. We are going to split our square into a nice grid. So I did one horizontal line and one horizontal line and one vertical line. What I am going to do is I'm going to start by making one very long stretched out curved line that's going to connect from here to here. Ready? So it's going to be very thin. So there it is. Now I'm going to do another curved line, but this time I'm going to have it bow the other way. See? Now I'm going to keep doing these curved lines. See how I'm starting from one side and going all the way to the other? Again, this pattern, petal, is probably the most challenging one. If it's not perfect, don't worry. This is a really challenging tangle pattern. You all did such a wonderful job. I wanted to see how you would do doing a more challenging one. Okay? So again, now you're doing the curved lines the other way. Bunch of curved lines. How does that look? Now you're going to do another part. So again, one long curved line from there to there, and now another long curved line. It almost looks like if you took a football and just stretched it out from the sides. It's just really skinny. It almost reminds me of a cat's eye too. So this one, I would definitely suggest just watching all the way through. If it's a little challenging, maybe watch it again. That's what's wonderful about having the video. You can just watch this pattern over and over again, and It's just taking your time, okay? I want you to try all of these patterns. It's okay if things are not perfect the first time. Again, perfect does not exist. Just relax and try your best. And last one. And that is Petal. Petal is the most challenging one that we will be doing. Do not worry if it did not work out. I am sure that you're all going to do a fantastic job. Just try your best. Maybe your first section might not be your favorite, but as you continue, the easier it's going to get. The first time you do something isn't always the best. The more you practice, the easier it will become. So Petal is our first pattern. Feel free to pause the video and try again if you would like. I'm now going to move on to Twister. This one we're also going to split, just like we did with Petal, one vertical line and one horizontal line. Our next step is going to be to make a dot, one dot in different spots. So mine are all kind of in different spots there. Now, close your eyes and think about a time when you threw a petal into a calm pond. That means the water wasn't moving. When you throw that petal into the water, it creates ripples. So what I want you to do is think about the ripples that a pebble creates when it's thrown into the water, okay? So you're going to be making circles that go around the dot. And you can see that the circle is not always going to be a full circle. I could only fit one full circle around. Then it kind of just turned into curved lines. So again, this is a great one to watch being done. Again, a bit more challenging. Today's tangle patterns are a little bit more challenging than our first 6 that we did, but they are great, and challenge is so good for your mind. You can do so many things that you just put your mind to and that you just practice and focus on. It is okay if things do not work out as planned the first time. Just go with the flow. Take a deep breath and try your best. Whew, that one is a favorite of mine. All right, so we have 2 more to go. Again, if you're not finished with this one, pause the video. Again, if you want to practice it again, you could flip over your paper and draw another square. We also will have extra squares by the end because we only have 4. So pause the video if you want to continue working on Twister. The next one is pools. This one is a bit easier than our first 2, Petal and Twister. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make these rings, okay? It almost kind of looks like a Kraft mac and cheese noodle. But see how they're connected to each other? You're going to fill in this space with these rings, or these noodle shapes. just like I'm doing here. They are not small, these are pretty big. And now what you're going to do is you're going to fill in your pools with circles. So it's kind of like bubbles. And you're going to fill in each of your pools with bubbles like we had practiced on day 1. That means our circles aren't overlapping like this. They're right next to each other. And they can be different sizes. Again, if you make a mistake, that's okay, just move on. Take your time. We're not worrying about erasing. And again, we're just doing them inside. We're not doing it inside the ring shapes. We're just doing it inside the big pools, okay? You could also think of it like a hot tub or a jacuzzi. Bubbles inside, and then this is kind of like the outside. So what I want you to do is I want you to spend about 3 to 5 minutes finishing up pools. Pause the video, and then when you're ready, we can move on to our final pattern, moons. Okay? So pause the video if you're not done with this one yet. So moons is going to start out similar to day 1 when we did wheels, okay? So we're going to start by doing circles. And again, some of them do not have to fit. See how I have a semicircle there, a half of a circle? My moons are going to be some different sizes. Again, they are not all the same size. I'm trying to make the most of my space. Some of them are really small. Okay, so that's the first half. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make a crescent shape. So when you look in the sky and you see a crescent moon, it kind of looks like this, okay? We're going to do that by making a curved line. We already have the outside curve from the circles that we made. So a curved line. And see how we have a crescent shape now? This crescent can go different directions. So that's like an upside down moon. This is like a sideways moon. And you're just going to make this crescent inside each one. Now, you're going to make lines that go from the crescent to the inside edge of that circle. Ready? Nice and slow. Take your time. Don't rush. Nice and slow. Again, if you make a little mistake, doesn't go as planned, just keep on moving. Just go with the flow. This is all about practice. You're going to fill in all of your moons with these lines. Then your last step is to make just little circles in the back. They're not stars, they're just little circles. I'm not going like this. Nice and quiet. We're going to be gentle with our pen. And you're going to fill in the whole space until it looks similar to this practice. Pause the video if you need to finish this, again, as always. So my friends, these are the 4 patterns that we have for today's practice. They are a bit more challenging, but I am sure you are all going to do a fantastic job. You have these extra squares here. If you like to give them a try, some of these again, you can also flip over your piece of paper and draw more squares to practice more, okay? You could even take a blank piece of paper and make squares and practice. The more you practice, the easier these are going to get. Some of them are more challenging than others, but that is okay. So that is our practice for today. What I'd like you to do is I would like you to make sure you try your very best on these 4 Zen Tangle patterns today: petal, pools, twister, and moons. And I would like you to send me a picture of your beautiful practice. I hope you have a wonderful, peaceful day. Wonderful job.